Dr. Rodrigo Valladares from Within Isle. Rodrigo's worked for over 10 years in the water industry in drinking water, desalination, groundwater replenishment and wastewater treatment. He's worked all over the world, including in several island communities. Now, in particular, he's led multidisciplinary teams dedicated to developing, testing and implementing new technologies. So who better to talk to about what types of technologies are appropriate for remote island applications? Here is Jo Burgess catching up with Rodrigo when they were recently together on site.
Hi Piers, yes, thank you for the intro. Here I am on an island with my colleague Rodrigo, who's got loads of experience working on remote communities and island nations and the technological considerations they need to take into account. Rodrigo, if we can start with the water supply side and with the provision of safe drinking water, what kind of things are appropriate for these kind of situations?
Thank you, Jo. Well, we have different types of solutions for our community islands in terms of water supply. We're talking about desalination, spring waters, well water, or groundwater. So on the desal things, we need to think about low energy desalination systems, such as solar-powered desalination systems coming up in other regions in the world, easy to operate, renewable energy consumption. And then on the spring side, we need systems, resilient systems, automated systems that could potentially work hurricane conditions, in emergency conditions, or considering power cuts into the equation. And for well water, well, definitely saline intrusion into the aquifer is a thing. So we should think about low energy pumping systems and a way to remove the salts from the water.
That's really interesting. Thank you. So we're looking for technologies that are versatile and durable, and above all, easy to operate with standard components as far as we can. Is that also true for the wastewater side? So a lot of island communities have a mixture of households that are on sewage systems, but also lots that are not, with private septic tanks, things like that. How do we cater for a combination of sewage and non-sewage sanitation?
Yeah, you're right, Jo. These communities usually have a combined system. So I'll start with the sewer solutions. We're looking at packaged plants, decentralized systems that use a very low energy consumption or have a low energy consumption, such as rotating biological contactors, and solutions that could potentially be aerated solutions with low energy components in them. Now, we also need them to be resilient and to be, easy to operate and maintain. I think that's another point we're going to touch on. And then on the non-sewage solutions, we're talking about low water or low flush toilets, composting toilets, dry toilets, solutions that are innovative, that have been used in other regions in the world, and that could potentially work for island communities.
That's interesting as well. So we're looking at a different category of technology, but we're facing the same challenges with things like very long lead times, supply chain issues, difficulties getting things onto the island, and difficulties with getting support from outside the island, because with all the will in the world, not every island is an island that has the kind of technical skills that it needs usually in a small community. What are the kind of things that can be used to provide better remote support and to enable ease of access to not just advice, but to components that need to come onto the island?
Yeah, and the solution is simple, Jo. We have to go virtual. We have to go on the digital side of things. Virtual visits, for example, augmented reality visits, or even remote repairs. For operating systems, digital twins might be a solution, might be the way to go. Because in this way, we can turn into a proactive utility, or utilities can be more proactive and less reactive to things, thus reducing the lead times for spare parts, maintenance required. And if there's something to do physical to the assets, they can plan for it. And that way, systems can turn into resilient systems.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you. Okay, so my last question comes on from what you just said. When it comes to planned maintenance rather than reactive, do you think there's scope for utilisation of things like remote asset condition monitoring technologies that will enable utilities to get an understanding of when something's about to fail, or do you think that's not appropriate tech for an island situation?
It definitely is, Joe. That way they can, as I told you, reduce the lead time for any breakdowns on the systems. They can potentially repair them way faster in this way. So like getting data in their systems and understanding what's going on with their assets without physically having to go to them, it's a big plus for them.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
You'll have noticed that Rodrigo spoke a lot about resilient systems, systems that can withstand severe weather and don't need frequent and complicated maintenance. Now, this is a prime example of the best use of leapfrog technologies, modern, complex, digital, but simple to operate and can be monitored over the internet.